Welcome to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the More You Know podcast network. You're in the ring with Jimmy, Rod, and Chris. Chris, I need an old man take from you. No, I don't need an old man take. No, never mind. I don't need an old man take. Dude, Drew McIntyre is a heel. He is a heel, Mr. Heel Healerson. He is a heel. No doubt about it. He turned his back on everything he stood for. He is a bad guy. Defend yourself.
Who did he really go out there and attack? It was Jey Uso. Thank you very much. It was the same bloodline member that has been a thorn in his side this last couple of years. That's who he went out. That's who he hurt. It's not his fault that Cody wants to team up with a former bloodline member or Sami Zayn wants to team up with a former bloodline member. Drew has sat back and suffered from Jey Uso and the bloodline for so long that he's got to go out and, whether you want to call it turning heel, that's in quotes for everybody listening, or whatever, it is a scorched earth policy. If you are helping the enemy, you are against Drew McIntyre. Okay? He's not a member of Judgment Day. She gave him a handshake just because he happened to help them out. He was there to make sure Jey Uso wasn't getting another belt. Jey Uso made sure Drew McIntyre couldn't get belts, so he's going to make sure that Jey Uso can't get belts.
So you're telling me that Drew McIntyre is still a face, correct?
He is the hero that we need, not necessarily the one that we want.
I don't want to talk to you anymore. Rod, tell him he's wrong.
I don't. All I could sit here thinking, Jimmy, and again, this podcast is not for this podcast here, but for like what Chris just sounded like was a particular political movement in this country right now, like just completely a whole like set of alternative facts that like people buy so wholeheartedly into that like you don't even have a way in, like you don't even know how you can engage them in any kind of a proper debate in reality into the real world. Like Chris is just too far gone, right? Like you know that clip of Matthew McConaughey and Wolf of Wall Street, where he's like Fugazi, not reality, out in space. Like that's where Chris is right now. He completely is detached from reality and any semblance of the person he used to be and what everyone else on the world understands about wrestling. He's just living in his own world. And I guess at this point, Jimmy, we would almost be considered mean if we just beat on this dead horse here, because Chris doesn't even grasp reality right now, and we got to let him live where he wants to.
What did he do with your boy earlier in the night, Rod? He came out and he told Seth that he appreciated the advice that he got from him. He shook his hand and told him, "Congratulations. I wanted to do that on Saturday and I didn't. I needed to give it to you now." That is not somebody that's a so-called heel. That is a stand-up guy who stands for what he believes in.
Also, do you think Paul Heyman like has a whole lot of conversations with Jey Uso about what's going on in the bloodline right now, Jimmy? Because that was another pretty like real strong bar of Chris's argument there. He kept saying bloodline, bloodline, bloodline. I'm not so sure that Roman Reigns or Jimmy Uso or Solo Sikoa is fielding a call for main event Jey Uso right now. So Chris's bloodline stuff is real flimsy.
Blood is thicker than water, Rod.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't get that. I'm not sure if that works.
That means once a member of the bloodline, through blood, always a member.
I don't know. That was a pretty. They were pretty mean to each other going forward. But I'll tell you what's not mean. It's the Thanksgiving holiday season right now, gentlemen, and we have a lot to be thankful for. I, for one, am thankful for Chris's horrible takes in wrestling, and I know Rod and Chris are very thankful for my horrible betting lines in football. But one thing I am very thankful for, and we're all going to give a few, is I'm thankful for second chances. I'm going to talk about LA Knight. Yeah. So LA Knight was brought up as part of the Maximum Male Models gimmick, and you could tell he was not going anywhere with that. Triple H takes the book over. LA Knight becomes LA Knight. The rest is history. And we've seen that a lot. We've seen that with, Nia Jax coming back. A lot of these wrestlers that, we're seeing a lot more people DIY. A lot of the women coming up. I really like the fact that we're infusing a lot more people into the roster just to mix it up a little bit. That being said, we do have a lot of Judgment Day. However, I do like that. So that is what I'm thankful for one of the things I'm thankful for this holiday season, Chris.
Yeah, I'm gonna echo your sentiment a little bit because LA Knight is also one of the things I'm thankful for, but it's not necessarily for those reasons, even though they were great. It's because LA Knight has brought a lot of fun into WWE that wasn't quite there where I like it when I first started watching again. But him coming up, the over that he's getting, the amount of fun that you can tell the crowd has when he's in the ring, the amount of smack talk that he brings to the ring brings me back a little bit to the Attitude Era. And I enjoy that as a fan, and I am thankful for him bringing those items into the WWE forefront.
It has been fun. I haven't purchased a shirt in a while. LA Knight was a great shirt purchase there, and got an autograph of him up there. Why? Just because it's fun. It's something different, and I really kind of enjoy this ride that we're on right now. Rod, what are you thankful for, bud?
Oh, well, first off, I want to say RIP Max Dupree. All right. Nobody really cared about the maximum male models, but I still contend to this day that LA Knight would absolutely work as a mouthpiece manager situation. So, he definitely has a career ahead of him when he can't go in the ring anymore, because he definitely was able to draw a little bit of heat that way. But what I'm thankful for, I think I'm going to go a little different direction than you gentlemen here with the thankfuls. My first thankful in the WWE world is heights. Yes, that's right. I am thankful for heights, whether we are talking about jumping off the top rope, whether we are talking about jumping off the second deck, whether we are talking about jumping off of the announce table. Height is the only way in our professional wrestling world that we are to understand the severity of a blow. So I am thankful for height. All right. If it wasn't for the fact that somebody came off the top rope, I wouldn't understand that this particular finisher that they got in this particular storyline was worse because they came off of the top rope. We wouldn't have great, wonderful clips to show on Instagram and Reels and Facebook if we didn't have guys like Ricochet and Kevin Owens going up to the second deck of the stadium and doing moonsaults off the back of there. So that is absolutely wonderful. And I am thankful for heights, Jimmy. I bet you didn't think that was going to be my first thankful.
No, I didn't think. I thought you were scared of heights, but I kind of see where you're going there, because heights really do help the world understand how cool professional wrestling is. Your Instagram and TikTok reels, it takes 10 seconds and you see some cool stuff going on there. So shout out to heights. I did not have heights on my board. So I think you're
I
good
predicted before the show that you guys would not see my 3 coming, and so far so good.
So far, so good. I also love that Triple H has the book finally. Triple H has the full book. Vince McMahon has not allowed it to ruin storylines anymore, as he has the past couple of years. And we're going to get to see that long-term storytelling. And I'm really thankful that we're going to be able to put the blame or give the kudos to Triple H moving forward. I think that it is his time to shine. He's done a good job so far. Let's see what he can do post Bloodline.
Yeah, I'm excited. I got back into this right after Triple H supposedly took over for Vince. So I didn't get to see quite the downfall of Vince quite like you guys. I don't quite have that animosity. My biggest memories of Vince is still back in the corporate days where he was actively the bad guy, the villain and things. And that's something that I am actually thankful for, Jimmy, is that with Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce giving more teeth behind their roles, we actually have a stronger corporate presence now that can really move different storylines further along than what they could have in the past, and also create a future villain through one of or both of them in the future, which adds a whole nother level that we haven't seen in a long time. So I'm thankful for the new GMs of Raw and SmackDown.
Rod, who would have again, I didn't have this on my board. Chris going pro corporations here. I did not see that happening.
First off, let me clear something up. Chris said animosity for Vince McMahon. I don't want to be on the books as ever having animosity for Vince McMahon. I understand who Vince McMahon is, and he angers me at times, but I don't want to be on the books as having animosity for Vince. He is the godfather and the man who gave birth to this thing called professional wrestling that I love and cherish to this day, and will always remember and respect Vince McMahon for that. Everything else in his life, I'm going to leave out, and I'm not attaching the word respect to. But as far as wrestling goes, no animosity to Vince whatsoever. So yeah, no, Chris being pro corporation, I guess his time back in Woodstock, hanging out with those people from Oregon and all the long hair in the vans and rolling up doobies, singing with old Country Joe and the Fish. Those days are gone, huh, Jimmy?
I guess so, but you got to remember, Chris was in his late 70s back then, so he's kind of a little older now, so he's not as mellow. What are you thankful for, Rod?
I was going to say, speaking of being mellow, I'm going to go on the other side. Something else that I am thankful for in the world of professional wrestling is yelling. That's right, yelling. Nowhere else in the world do more men yell at each other, yell at a crowd, get yelled at by a crowd, or just yell for random emphasis during a time in a ring where they're just standing and talking into a microphone for no reason. Let's give it up for yelling. Were it not for yelling, we would not have a script on Friday nights or Monday nights or Tuesday nights, because during those events, we don't have nearly as much wrestling for our televised broadcasts. So if it weren't for yelling, we wouldn't know when we were supposed to cheer. We wouldn't know when we were supposed to be mad at somebody. And we wouldn't know if we were someone just tuning in when something really, really cool or something not cool happened. But I will say this, there's one time where I'm anti-yelling, and I will get to that in my final thankful take.
My final thankful take is something I'm thankful for every year, and it's nice that he was on Friday Night SmackDown. Kevin Owens is a gem. I love him so much. Terrific on commentary. Whatever they give him, he does a great job. Not doing as much as we'd like him to do right now, but coming out with the tie and everything on SmackDown, and then finally, it's not that he threw water in my face. It's that bottle hit you, and I'm going to go get suspended now. I'll be right back. I love Kevin Owens, and he's the best ever.
That was great on SmackDown. I loved every bit of KO on SmackDown Friday night.
So if Michael Cole just came out from behind the ring and slapped somebody, he'd get suspended too, since that's why KO got suspended, because technically he was a commentator. Is that what we're to believe? Even though if KO wasn't wearing a tie around his neck, he wouldn't be a commentator and he'd be fine for him to punch those guys.
It's just like if you don't have the briefcase, you don't have the Money in the Bank contract. The same thing. Tie on, commentator. Tie off, good.
All right. Thank you for clearing that up for me, Jimmy. That's why the expert on this show.
Chris King.
One thing that I think we're all thankful for, and this is something that WWE has done, I mean, even since I was a kid, and you guys know how long ago that was, and it's their continued presence and work with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, all right? We cannot go and talk about WWE without actually talking about the good that they do for their fans out there. And we talked about John Cena a lot lately. He is one of the biggest workers with Make-A-Wish Foundation, and I just
No, hold on. Give the man his flowers. Not just one of the biggest workers, Guinness World Record holder for most wishes granted. All right, give the man his flowers.
See, there you go. Guinness record holder for making wishes. All right, that's a legit thing to brag about. WWE does it great every single year. They bring kids to their premium live events. They do everything they can. It's something to be commended.
Yeah, for sure. I think that it's an amazing thing what they do. Coming off of the IU Dance Marathon, which I was very happy to be a part of, where they raised $3 million.
Oh my
for
God,
Riley
Jimmy!
Children's
You don't
Hospital.
understand how much money I would pay for footage of you dancing during this dance marathon. Oh my! Are we talking dances out of Greece, Jimmy? Are we doing Oklahoma style dances? What are you doing? Throwing some hip hop moves down?
Jimmy was dancing like Jim Irsay.
I had my radio on and was walking around making sure everything was okay. So that's kind of what my role was there. But I will tell you, the kids there have a blast. One of these kids kept throwing the ball. I had to go chase it and get it and bring it back to them. Troublemakers. But what a great event that is, and what a great thing that WWE does. You can say a lot about WWE's business practices and TKO's business practices. What you can't say is they don't give back to the kids, Rod.
That's absolutely true. Chris has really surprised me with this thankfuls here. He's thankful for a corporation. He's thankful for giving back to charity and the underprivileged youth. And not that that's a bad thing, but I just didn't know that that was something that Chris paid a lot of attention to. I didn't know how often he was checking in on the Twitter feed of one Titus O'Neil, WWE Global Ambassador. But it's good to know that Chris is keeping up with the charitable arm of the World Wrestling Entertainment Organization underneath parent corporation TKO. I'm sure they appreciate, Chris, that you were hyping all of their charitable side and none of the other stuff that Jimmy sort of alluded to there. I suppose I'm last, right? I got my last thankful to go. I might as well go right here.
Chris is like, yes, I agree with you, and didn't even want to say anything, so that's fine.
All right, what I'm thankful for is I wish I remember which exact show it was on now, so I might be able to go about the business of identifying this single person. But what I am thankful for is a single unknown WWE fan in the universe a few weeks back, either on last week's Raw or last week's SmackDown.
Seriously?
He was a hero. He was a hero, and he held up a sign in the middle of the crowd, and it said, "We need to stop with the what chance." And that man is absolutely right. And I appreciate that he is starting a groundswell of a movement to try to rid world wrestling of this what scourge. It's out of control. People now are doing it again. And Jimmy, I know you've seen it before, and you'll probably say, I've dealt with this for many more years than you guys have. But it's out of control right now where people are doing it now just to be funny. They're wanting people that they like to hear talking. It's gone too far. So you, sir, who held up the poorly written, not very well, great handwriting sign that said the what chance need to stop, I support you. If you listen to this podcast, let us know who you are. We'll let you come on for at least 6 to 7 more people platform. We'll take care of you there. We have that for you. We are behind your movement. The what chance need to stop. So I'm thankful for you, unknown WWE fan.
Oh, gentlemen, that's so long. That I think that's one of Steve Austin's biggest failures is coming up with that, because it just keeps going and going. I'm glad the movement can maybe start up a little bit here. It depends on who you are. Some people really like to go with it, and some people get thrown off, and it really hurts their interview moving forward. So I agree with you. The what chance need to stop, Chris King.
Do we see the chance replacing that in the near future? We already heard Rod talk about how the chance at the live event you guys went to, the Fastlane in Indianapolis, that the Yaz were a little bit out of control. How long before Rod gets upset that the Yaz have overtaken the whats?
Rod will definitely get angry at that. I think it's a very long time. People are creatures of habit, and they see something and they have to continue. How long, Chris, did it take you to go from rotary phone to your cell phone? I mean, let's be honest.
I still have a rotary phone.
Like you actually do, don't you?
I'm just happy he's moved past 10 cans.
Yes, the what chance, the what chance. You got to love the what chance. What we don't love, though, is we don't love anarchy. Actually, we love our anarchy. We love Monday Night Raw.
No, apparently Chris doesn't love anarchy. He's pro corporation. He's told us that.
Yeah.
He's being thankful.
We love War Games, and War Games is coming in 2 weeks where we have Dominic Mysterio, Finn Balor, Damian Priest, JD McDonough, and the newest member, maybe not, Drew McIntyre, against Jey Uso, Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins, and a 5th person not to be named yet. They are in Chicago, Illinois. Who better than to bring out as a mystery partner than, who's it going to be, Rod?
Well, I mean, I think I know who you're alluding to, and I think that person has been having a little bit of fun on Instagram right now with a little video that they possibly just revealed. So I don't think it's that person that you're alluding to. I'm also not going to give that person oxygen by saying their name. Who I believe we are seeing here is a 3rd-generation superstar. All right. He is a multiple double-digit time champion. All right. He is the Viper. He is the Legend Killer. He is Randy Orton. I think we are going to hear their voices. There's going to be voices, Jimmy. Voices are going to be inside of heads. Randy Orton's going to come out, and people are going to go absolutely crazy because that's what they're setting us up for here. This Drew McIntyre move to be heel is a big thing right now. You have to match a big thing with another big thing, so they can't just truck out Ricochet, or I mean somebody else who we've seen fight as a babyface on the Raw brand as their fifth guy. That's
Bronson
not gonna work.
Reed.
Yeah. And then also, I think Sheamus could work here, right? And a little bit of a curveball. We haven't seen Sheamus for a while, but Sheamus, I believe,
Yikes.
wrestles on SmackDown, doesn't he? And as you talk about
Doesn't
Jimmy,
matter.
we have to go by the brand split at all times.
Yeah, I know we do. We have to go. The brand split is key, or the whole universe gets destroyed.
I think
yeah,
Randy Orton, though. I really do, Jimmy. That's who I think it's going to be.
Chris, it seems like this is Randy Orton, and I bet you they're going to do it next week because they're not going to wait to Survivor Series. They need to have Orton because people think it's going to be the other person, right?
I'm not that knowledgeable with Orton or his legacy in the WWE. So I guess as a newer viewer, let's call it, that doesn't move the needle for me necessarily.
Whoa! Look at the Viper taking shots.
Wow. Okay. All right. So you're not as pro Randy Orton as other people might
Chris,
be.
did you forget what Randy Orton looked like? Like, let's just start there for a second. Did you forget what Randy Orton looked like when he left the WWE last time? I mean, like we want to talk about what a professional wrestler looks like. I'd say that's Randy Orton.
When I got back into wrestling, which was WrestleMania the year before this year, Orton was already on the injured list and not wrestling anymore. I have not seen him in the ring ever. The only thing I've ever seen is pictures. So yes, I do know what he looks like. But a few weeks ago, you guys asked me about CM Punk, and I kind of have the same feeling here. I'm not a CM Punk guy. I'm not necessarily.
Oh, they're not nearly the same. They're not nearly the same. Randy Orton will play ball. Randy Orton will go along with storylines. You know what I mean? Randy Orton will show up to events and do the predetermined outcome, right? Like he'll get along well with others. Like Randy Orton and CM Punk are not even in the same ballgame, Chris.
He'll poop in a bag. It's fine.
As a newer viewer, though, that doesn't move my needle because I don't know who or what he is or what he represents.
Wow. Well, I think what will happen is if Randy Orton does come back and make an appearance on Raw, you're going to get video packages out you're going to get so many video packages. You're not going to be able to say, I don't know who he is. He is the youngest WWE champion ever. He was like 20 years old when he first won it as part of Evolution. And he has he's the consummate professional wrestler. He's molded into a professional. He is good in the ring. He's not the best in the ring. He's not the worst in the ring. He's very good in the ring. He can do a lot of different styles. The RKO, Chris, is a terrific finisher because it comes out of nowhere. At a WrestleMania, Seth Rollins went for the curb stomp and got RKO'd out of that. It's just he will move the needle and the place will go bananas when he comes out. I think you'll like him. But it really does it always shocks me that we have not been doing this very long. The three of us, I'm like, what do you mean? Randy Orton was just around with, Matt Riddle. It's like, no, I've never seen him. Unless Chris just can't remember that far back. It is more than a month ago.
But that proves how far you and I go back, Jimmy, though, because I remember you and I were doing our thing together where I took over for our guy Brett McNeil, and then we saw the exit of the Viper.
Yeah, you got to remember, it was WrestleMania with Logan Paul. Stone Cold came back. Pat McAfee was in there. Johnny Knoxville was in that WrestleMania. That was when I got back.
Right. That's right.
Yes, the Johnny Knoxville Sami Zayn match, one of the best matches in WrestleMania in history.
Great stuff.
Great stuff there. So looks like we've got that going for the men. Now the women, party crashers. Lots of big stuff happening there. Asuka joins Damage Control along with Kairi Sane. So we got Asuka, Bayley, Kairi Sane, Io Sky, and of course Dakota Kai as our 5. Now, on the other side, though, we've got Bianca, we have Charlotte, we have Shotzi, and who else do we have?
Is it going to be those one chicks that are always like stirring the witch's brew? Are we going to truck those 2 chicks out? That one tag team? Is it going to be them?
It could.
What were their names?
I can't remember. It could very well be.
Is it going to be Tegan Knox? They certainly want us to believe Tegan Knox is a big deal. Can it be Tegan Knox?
Yeah, I don't know, and I don't think it's going to be Becky Lynch either. Now,
no, definitely not going to be Becky Lynch. I have no idea what we're doing with Becky Lynch and with her and the Xia Li. I have no idea what's going on there, other than we're trying to make Xia Li a big deal. But again, we can't have them because the women have to come from SmackDown. So, Yeah, I don't know who in the world they're having fight with the EST. Perhaps that's why maybe it'll just be a 4-on-4 regular Survivor Series match, Jim. Could we see one of those?
Well, no, that'll have to go into. Well, maybe it could be because I didn't think Dakota Kai was ready to come back yet.
It
But
certainly would seem. She keeps wearing that brace, but then again, we saw Stone Cold Steve Austin fight a bunch of matches with a knee brace. So
And Dakota Kai has been known to mess around in elimination chambers. If you are an NXT fan, you know what I'm talking about there. But Kairi Sane back. Kairi Sane's elbow is fantastic. Chris, you got to give Kairi Sane credit on that elbow.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking pretty vicious.
Thank you, Chris.
Dynamite. Dynamite.
Kairi Sane is
what more do you want to say?
Is another terrific wrestler, and I'm really glad she's back. And again, building up that women's division. We've got a decent amount of people right now, Rod. I really like where their women's division's going.
You can tell that, like, you spoke about Triple H having the wheels here, and like you can tell where we're at with Triple H is that he keeps things going, right? Like, I think Vince have a tendency to pull the card too quick, right? He'd be like, "Oh, we're not getting the pops. The fans aren't into it." You know what I mean? And then he just wouldn't put them back on TV. And it's like, well, yeah, they're not going to be into it like right away. Because like right now, your boy's DIY. I don't know. I'm thinking the crowd pops.
Shut up
for your guys at DIY right now, Jim. It's seeming a little like you can hear a pin drop in there when those boys are hitting the ring. But Triple H is committed to it. I like Ciampa. I like Johnny Gargano. Let's make sure it happens. But that's what you can tell about Triple H is that he'll let stuff happen a little more often, right? Like we keep doing the Nia Jax, Zoe Stark, Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler keeps looking like a raccoon. She keeps being like she just got out of the shower every time she's on camera. I continue to not understand why we have to have Shayna Baszler look that way, but it is what it is at this point. It's a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, I really hate eye makeup in general like that on any of the women wrestlers there. So we did find out some things on SmackDown as well. We did find out that they're going to still try to push LA Knight. He got a lot of mic time, got a good win over Grayson Waller.
But is that really good?
Well, that's the thing. It's like they wanted to get him a win. They wanted to get him on the mic. Let's see what they do next week. What is he going to do for Survivor Series? Because we need to have him still going after.
Like, I don't understand why they gave the Jimmy match away. I know Jimmy's not as big of a deal as a lot of other people could be, but I don't know why we just gave the Jimmy match away. I'd frankly rather see that at a PLE than what we're going to just see on SmackDown this Friday.
Yeah, I think so. We also learned, Chris King, that Rey Mysterio will be out. He's got some knee surgery going on, and that dastardly heel face in Chris's world, Santos Escobar turned, and I like how Carlito went in there and caused some trouble, Chris.
Yeah, I enjoyed Carlito coming in there because that was one question that I had. I mean, why throw those brass knuckles right back down on the ring while you chasing after the guy that was trying to give it to Logan Paul? So yeah, that was fun. That was fun. Split up the LWO, get a little bit more drama there. Ray's on his way out. We need a new leader.
And how dare you, Chris? How dare you throw shade at Santos Escobar and not just automatically make the excuse for him that it's tough for Santos to do two things at once? When he sees an assailant off in the distance that he's got to chase after, you can't ask him to possibly think about what he has in his hand and where that stuff gets sat down. I mean, absolutely. That should be a complete excuse for him. You sat on here and twisted yourself and turned into a complete shell of a man at the beginning of this podcast, trying to make every excuse for Drew McIntyre. But now Santos Escobar is getting chucked under the bus under something that's not even obvious. Santos looked right in the camera and told all of us that Ray did this to himself. Are you not to believe what Santos says? Because you certainly believe everything Drew McIntyre says.
Wow, just trying to throw shade at me and Santos there. You're talking about me throwing shade at him. You just comparing him and not being able to do two things at once. Oh, listen, just because you guys don't see how Drew is doing the right thing does not mean that you guys can keep throwing shade at me.
You're not even talking about Santos, Jimmy. We were talking about Santos Escobar. That's what I mean. He just lives in his own fantasy world right now with Drew.
Do you want to hit on I want to say real quick, Cedric Alexander, Dragon Lee had a very good match. Got the crowd into it a lot better than our match the previous week.
Why isn't he in the LWO?
Who, Dragon Lee?
Yeah.
Because the other two guys in the LWO don't even know their names. That's why. Dragon Lee gets a chance to be Dragon Lee if he's Dragon Lee. If he's in the LWO, he's one of those other two guys who you can't name right now.
I think that's probably a fair point right now, Chris. I really do. Yeah.
Yeah, because I definitely don't know those other guys' names.
Yeah, and you got to be careful because Vince, this is one thing that Vince was not good at. He was like, okay, every like person needs to be together or fight each other.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're from
Or
Mexico. You should be in the LWO.
exactly. Or we can't have two people from Japan, two women from the Japan on the roster at one time because it's got to be you're the Japanese woman instead of now we have like
Even
five.
though I was gonna say that's sort of what we have going on in Damage Control right now.
Yeah. So I mean that's kind of cool that we have a lot of different people and getting those opportunities. Speaking about opportunities, let's freaking go on Raw with Otis. Let's
Yeah.
go. Otis and Nakamura had a hell of a match. Back and forth. Crowd was into it. Nakamura had to get the win because he's, going against some random person he's talking about all the time. But Otis is stepping it up. I like this Otis a lot, Rod.
Otis is really losing a lot more of his hair than I realized at certain shots of Otis there, man. It's real thin up on top there. Otis is probably a little older than I realized, but that's the sneaky thing about most of these guys in the ring. They're older than you realize they are because it's taken them a long while to get to the point where they're able to be on TV all the time. But I'm going to shout out to Zawa here. All right. That guy's game for about anything you want to do. And right now, him coming down wearing the pink shirts of the Alpha Academy, basically standing behind Maxine Dupree and just doing whatever weird move that Tozawa does that everybody gets into it. Like, give it up for Tozawa. Give it up for the New Day, who just comes in eating cereal for some reason. You gotta love the New Day. Absolutely. You know me, Jimmy. I'm game for anything the Alpha Academy does. So when Otis pulls out that caterpillar, I want to see it every time.
Chris, did you like this matchup? And then what do you feel about Nakamura and Gable next week?
Listen, I love this match between Otis and Nakamura. Shinsuke Nakamura, sorry. Otis, you're right, Rod. Otis is doing great things right now. I'm fully behind it. I wasn't behind the Alpha Academy when I first got back into it. You guys have shown me the way. I am excited for this matchup with Gable. If Otis and him can put a good show in the ring, the show between him and Gable should be even better, right?
Oh, yeah. Gable can go.
Oh, yeah.
Ring.
Yeah.
Continuing with crappy finishes, Tommaso Ciampa, Ludwig Kaiser. Kaiser defeated Ciampa after Vinci came in. Listen, they've got to get these tag teams in the ring together and give them time for them to get over. That's what's going to happen. That's the only way it will happen. I understand they're pulling it out or elongating it as much as they can, but people don't really care as much right now, and that stinks because all four of these guys are really good, Rod.
I listen, I'm proud of you, Jim, for being able to admit the first point is that no one really cares at this point. And that's just a bummer because Johnny Gargano's good stuff. Ciampa goes in the ring. Vinci, I mean, they've done nothing to help Vinci whatsoever, so he doesn't even really have a chance. But Kaiser, he gets to be on the mic every once in a while. These guys got charisma. They clearly can go in the ring. Let's have them get after it. But it just continues with the problem of the belts being on the Judgment Day, Jimmy, because I've talked about this a lot of times before. You don't need to put belts on certain people. When certain people are expected to be on camera and are big time, no matter if they have a belt or not, you don't have to have the belts on them. So I think Judgment Day is big at this point with or without the tag team belts. So these other teams don't get a chance to have any kind of a storyline because on what circumstance are anybody getting any kind of a battle with a Judgment Day right now because they're too busy getting bossed around by Rhea Ripley and trying to recruit Drew McIntyre.
Hey, Rhea Ripley is not the leader. Damian Priest is, right, Chris?
Really?
Yeah, Rhea's that. The thing with a knockout finish is the knockout needs to look really good. And I will say this, I will give Indy Hartwell credit. She tried to sell it as not knowing where she was. It just didn't work. And I really hope Xia Li and Becky Lynch have good chemistry together, Chris. I really, really do.
Yeah, I hope so. How many more people do we need to see her knock out of a contest before we see her and Becky in the ring, though?
Well, it'll be next week. So
are they meet next week?
Yeah.
Then listen, we know Becky can put a show on in the ring. Let's hope Xia can keep up.
Jimmy, what chance do you give of that actually happening?
See, that's the thing. I don't, and it stinks. Yeah. I think they're going to get about a 7-minute match.
Yeah. There's too many damn commercials during Raw. There's just too many damn commercials during Raw. Like that's the thing. We complain about it being too long, but if you think about it, it's still just a little over 2-hour show because they pack so many commercials into there. I mean, they essentially go to commercials 3 times during the main event.
I wish that there was a way that you could block the show out where you wouldn't get all those interruptions. And I know the timing doesn't necessarily always work out, but hey, you're just signing these huge deals.
Yeah.
NXT's on CW, SmackDown is back to USA, Raw's gonna go somewhere, if maybe still USA, where you could say, hey, this is when we're doing our commercials. And it could be different every week, depending on the show. I don't know how that works, but you've got to do something because it does take a ton out of it. That's why PLEs are so much fun, because you see the whole match.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny. You never think about something as simple as that, Jimmy, but you're absolutely right. You get like a 13-minute PLE match. That's actually a 13 straight minute PLE match, right? You get these matches at Raw where it's like, okay, if you want to time it when it starts to when it ends, it's 15 minutes, but they actually only got 7 minutes of screen time, if that.
Well, and then you have the crowd that's really into it, but then the second it goes to commercial, people just kind of stand on the side, they're resting, or there's a rest hold going on, and the crowd goes down. They get back up again. Yeah, it doesn't always work.
Why can't they work it out where if a commercial break comes in during the middle of the match, they go to the split screen? We've seen this, I don't know, in how many different sports scenarios where the action is still going on in the corner and you have a little commercial on the other side of the screen. You're still able to see the action. They don't have to do rest to get the crowd out of it or anything. You can still see what's going on, but you have a commercial on the other side.
I'd imagine
Yeah.
they get less money for those ads.
Well,
would be my first thing.
they've done it and they do it, and it still doesn't work because it does take you out of it, because you're not hearing anything and you're looking at this really small screen, especially if you have your phone. How that goes. Main event of Raw was interesting because they did have everyone involved in War Games as banned from the ringside. Of course, Rhea Ripley was still there because Adam Pearce didn't get to finish his sentence earlier, but that's fine. Big news coming out of this, again, kind of a schmoz finish, but Drew McIntyre turns babyface, apparently, according to Chris, and defeats Jay. I'm looking forward to Survivor Series. I think the men's and women's main angles are solid. I think it's going to be a really good show overall. And gentlemen, Judgment Day is going to lose War Games, and they're going to blame Damian Priest, and Damian Priest might be kicked out of Judgment Day.
Are we going to see the same thing on the women's side? Because clearly we're kind of aiming that way with Bailey, right? She's on the outs here. She didn't know about any of these new people sort of being brought in, right? Are we absolutely going to see 2 people chucked out of the main heel factions that have been dominating each show? It's definitely a possibility here. I mean, Damian Priest has enough heat right now. You could throw him out. I could see that.
Yeah, I hate when they do the same storylines on both shows, and they did that a lot under Vince, and we are kind of seeing it a little bit now. I'd really like the shows to be different, but we'll see.
Well, Jim, we can't always get what we want, right? Like, we would love for Chris to live in a reality world where he understands what's going on with Drew McIntyre, but everybody listening to this podcast knows that that's not true.
If you want to call Drew something other than face, call him a vigilante. All right.
No, that's Sting.
We can't all be Charles Bronson, Chris. All right. I know that you were a big fan of the Charles Bronson movies back in the 70s.
Damn good joke, people. And with that, you've been listening to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the More You Knows Podcasting Network. You're in the ring with Jimmy, Chris, and Rod.
And hey, all you big CW fans out there, right, that love your little comic book shows or your little teenage rom-com shows, get ready for NXT Tuesday nights to be taking over that CW primetime lineup. I know you kids that love Riverdale. I can't wait to see the folks from NXT and Chase U getting after it on Tuesday nights.
Goodbye, net. Yeah.
Riverdale.